Alright, so we're doing another knife sharpener video. So today we're going to be comparing this $1,000 Wicked Edge Pro knife sharpener to this $130 Work Sharp King Onion Edition knife sharpener. So let's see what you get. So for $1,000 you get this base, you get, well, that's pretty much all you get. You get this base, and then you get these sharpening stones that go up from 100 grit all the way up to 1,000 grit, and you get the ability to sharpen from 14 degrees to 27 degrees, and then you can make minute adjustments here if you have a blade that requires that. You really don't get much for $1,000. For those of you that don't know exactly how this works, this is just a vise. You clamp your knife in here, and then you can use your stones and you can sharpen your blade. And that's pretty much it. That's what you get for $1,000. Over here we have the Work Sharp. This is $130, and this is essentially like just a scaled down belt sander. It has a button right here on the bottom with a variable speed control, so you can just push this, and then that turns it on and off. You can sharpen from 15 to 30 degrees. This little knob, whenever you turn it, it just makes these flaps go in or out to change the degree. It's very basic. You just turn it on, pull your knife through on either side. It comes with 5 different belts, ranging from this one, which is a 120 grit, all the way up to this purple one, which is a 6,000 grit. This goes up to 6,000 grit. This only goes up to 1,000 grit. The last time I did this test, we tested this $1,000 knife sharpener versus this $4 knife sharpener, and this $1,000 knife sharpener really didn't do a whole lot better. I feel like it had a lot to do with the knife that I was using, because in the last video I used a $15 like mystery steel knife. So since it was so cheap, I feel like this knife sharpener couldn't really shine the way that everyone expected it to. So our two sacrificial knives for this video are going to be these Maizen Japanese style knives that use an AUS 10 high carbon steel, and these the last ones were $15 a piece. These are $55 a piece. I already put these on the sharpness tester, and this one got 210 and this one got 230, so you can tell that the quality is already much higher compared to the last knives that I used, which one was like 200 something and then one was like 400 something. So the quality control is there, so I expect much better results with these knives. Now it's time for everybody's favorite part. We have to dull the knives. Usually I enjoy this part. I'm not even going to enjoy this part because these knives are actually very, very nice. And the thought of dragging them across this is just, I don't want to do it. It's my job, so I have to. So we're going to go, I think 10 swipes on each one. About what you'd expect. They feel like butter knives. So let's see where we're at on the sharpness tester. I'm going to assume that we're probably somewhere around 2,000, which is a common butter knife. Yeah. Okay, not quite 2,000. 1,500. 1,510 to be exact. Now let's try the other one. Huh. 1,600. It's crazy how consistent these knives are. They came almost the exact same sharpness. Drawing them across the cinder block made them almost the exact same amount of dull, I guess you could say. Whereas the other knives just seem to be all over the place. So that's a very good sign for the sharpening process. So we're going to do the $1,000 sharpener first. Go ahead and get it out of the way. Now, something I do want to show you is that if you remember with the last knife, the cheaper knife, whenever I put it in here, you're supposed to use this little guard and put it inside of these holes right here, or these top ones, and then that's supposed to be like your backrest, and you're supposed to put the spine of your knife on those, and then once it's flat, then clamp it down. Now I want you to notice that this knife, just like the last knife, the cheaper one, whenever I put it in the clamp at those two depths that you're supposed to use, it moves back and forth very, very easily. And if I was to start sharpening this, it would do just like the last knife did. It would kind of move a little bit this way, then it would move a little bit this way, and then the angle would be all messed up and I wouldn't be able to get a good edge on it. That seems to be a consistent downside with this sharpener and this like style of vise, is that if your blade is tapered, there's just no way to clamp it down the way it needs to be clamped down. At least from these two depths that are predetermined that they tell you to use. So what I'm gonna have to do is do just like I did for the last one, is just put it in the middle and then just put it down in there as deep as I possibly can. Go about right there. And then if I clamp it down there, then it seems to be pretty rock solid, and I don't think that's gonna move. I think that's gonna throw off my angle, because these knives, at least on the box, they say that they're sharpened at 15 degrees. So I'm gonna have to take a Sharpie and draw on the blade and then see which angle is gonna be the correct one. Let's just go ahead and start at 15 degrees. I can't even do 15 degrees because it's gonna hit the vise. Maybe 16? That actually looks perfect, to be honest with you. Looks like it's taken all the marker off from top to bottom. We're gonna, just like last time, we're gonna start off with the 100 grit stones, work our way all the way up to 1,000. So. All right, after running through all those stones, up to 1,000 grit, this thing feels pretty crazy sharp. Much sharper than than that cheap knife. All right, now time for the work sharp. This one should be much easier. Literally just start it up and drag it through. Extra coarse at a 120 grit, and go all the way up through all the belts to the final 6,000 grit polish. So let's get started. So that's just the extra coarse. That already feels crazy sharp. That's literally just the extra coarse belt. So you can see how easy it is to just take off belts. All right, I cannot wait to get that on the sharpener. Or the not the sharpener, the sharpness tester. There we go. All right, the time has come. The moment of truth. We're gonna use the $1,000 knife first. This knife started off at a 210. We dulled it down to a 1510. And then we sharpened it back up with the $1,000 knife sharpener. Let's see where we're at. Okay, not too bad. 165. So we started off at 210, and now we're sharper than what it came stock. So 210. So we went from 210, we dulled it down to 1510, and then now we're at 165. That's pretty good. So now the real question is, and we know that our $1,000 knife sharpener got our knife down to 165. So now the real question is, how far is our $130 knife sharpener going to get us? We started off at 230, we dulled it down to 1600. Now let's see where we're at. Ew. So our $130 knife sharpener got us down to 145. So our $130 knife sharpener got us quite a bit sharper than our $1,000 knife sharpener. All right, a little recap. So I think we all can understand that the $130 knife sharpener got us a sharper edge, probably mainly because it goes all the way up to 6,000 grit, whereas this only goes up to 1,000 grit. Now, with that being said, it's still very impressive that this was able to achieve such a sharp edge with only going up to 1,000 grit, which I guess also proves that in my last video, a lot of people in the comments said that I was just a complete moron. I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't using this thing right. I was doing everything wrong, and that I had no idea what was going on because I didn't get the knife as sharp as they expected. So I guess doing this, I guess that proves that you're wrong, and I did know what I was doing. With this being $1,000, it really, really, like, if you pinned these two in an argument against each other, this thing does not have a leg to stand on in an argument. Yes, this can produce an edge almost as sharp as this, and you could buy the higher grit stones and I'm sure achieve an edge much sharper than this with this thing. But you have to put it in this perspective. This is $1,000. This is $130. For the price, if you were going to spend $1,000 to make your knives sharp, let's just put it in that perspective. You have $1,000 to spend to make your knives sharp. Okay? You could buy this, right? And you can get them pretty sharp. Or you could buy 7 of these kits. So this whole thing, you could buy 7 of these, and then with the money that's left over, you could buy 6 full belt kits. And on top of that, each new one that you buy would come with a full set of belts, and then you could buy 6 full belt kits on top of that for the price of one of these. Like, you could buy just 5 of these, have one for each belt, and then spend the rest of the money on belt kits, and you would be good for the next like 20 years keeping your knives sharp. So, like, it's just so hard to make an argument for this thing. I think would be good, or will be good, for 99.9% of people. I can't think of a knife or whatever that this thing wouldn't sharpen that this thing could sharpen. The only advantage that this has really is that it has all these little micro adjustments. So that you can, like, I think these things on the edge, I think these adjust up to like 0.05 degrees or something. So that's the only real advantage this has, is the little micro adjustments, which, like I said, 99.9% of people are not making micro adjustments to sharpen their knives. And also, like I pointed out in the video, this jaw design honestly sucks. This is 2 knives in a row now that I've put in here that I've put at the depth that you're supposed to put them, and they just wiggle around. You have to jam them down lower into the jaw to even lock them in place. I just cannot recommend this thing. I'm a fan of this. This will be what I use to sharpen my knives probably for the rest of my life, unless like a better version of this comes out. And also, I don't even think I showed you guys this. This whole head rotates. I don't know exactly what you'd use that for, but just another feature. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's do something fun. So, since I've been doing all this research for all these knife sharpeners and looking at basically a million different knife sharpeners, I keep getting ads for every knife sharpener known to man. And one of the things I've seen is that somebody will sharpen a knife and then they'll have a tomato on a table and they'll just like slice it without even like not holding it or anything. It'll just sit there and they'll just slice it. So we're gonna give that a try. They do, from what I can tell, wow, that was such a nice slice. Looks like they cut the bottom of it so it sits kind of flat. Now let's see if we can... No way. Oh, mine kind of moved. Maybe I was being a little bit too aggressive. Okay, that's impressive. I didn't think we'd be able to do that. Oh, I was trying to get a real thin slice. Oh, look at that. If only I had any tomato cutting skills. Okay, that's pretty sharp. That was the $1,000 knife, or the knife that was on the $1,000 knife sharpener. Let's try the one on the $130. Not bad. Oh. Got a little ambitious there. That is so cool. Like I could do this all day. I really thought for sure, like 100% until I tried it for myself. I thought 100% that in those commercials they would like cut this and then like glue the tomato down, and then they would do their cut, just to like try to make their knives look sharp. I didn't know that that was actually possible. I've also seen, which we've done this before, where they just drop the tomato and it just splits. Oh, well maybe if I had the knife held up a little bit higher. Come on, let me hold it like right here. That's pretty cool. Ooh. All right, now we're just making a mess. I just wanted to see if I could do that slice with the tomato like they do on the commercial. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't waste $1,000 on a knife sharpener. It's not worth it. I will have links to both of those in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.